Hi, welcome to Encouragement for Today with First Congregational Church of Anaheim. I'm Pastor Emily, one of the pastors here. On Monday, we had a luncheon with a guest speaker, and I was really encouraged by the way that this guest shared. His name is Hewitt, and he was one of the pastors that planted the Friends Church location in Old Town Orange. At 37 years old, he was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. And he said after he heard the news, he drove to a local donut shop and he sat in the parking lot praying. He asked God, what are you up to here? I have a thriving marriage, an incredible 4-year-old daughter. The church that we're planting is doing so well. I'm 37 years old. What are you up to here? He had a sense of God drawing his attention towards verses from 2 Corinthians. It was a passage where Paul has been frustrated, praying that God remove this thorn in the flesh that he has. And it's left vague. We don't know what Paul was struggling with. God answers and says, "My grace is sufficient, for my power is made perfect in weakness." In this instance, God doesn't relieve Paul of the challenge. Instead, he says, "My grace, my strength will meet you in this weakness and will be shown in incredible ways." So Jay, the speaker on Monday, he accepted this answer from God. He'd wrestled with faith before in the past and didn't feel a need to do it this time. Instead, he said, "Okay, God, then how can I join you in this work? How can I partner with you in whatever you're up to here?" This time, he had a sense of God drawing his attention to the Iron Man. Jay had not been an endurance athlete. He'd heard of the Iron Man. He had no idea what was involved in training for it. He talked with his wife later that night, and together they decided that God was calling him to train for an Ironman. And the reason was because he wanted to show his 4-year-old daughter what resilient faith looks like and what it looks like to believe that Christ is our strength when we are weak. It was incredible to hear him talk about the training process and how he would hit a hurdle and then the right person would come along at the right time who knew how to train for that particular aspect of the race or knew how to give him really good nutrition advice or knew when to help him pull back and rest or when to move forward and really push and train harder. Then COVID happened. And so the races were canceled. But Jay was contacted and he was able to create his own race that Iron Man would track. And he went from the beach to outside of his front door in Yorba Linda. I loved hearing Jay talk about the moment he had with his daughter as he finished the race. I don't remember the exact words, but he looked at her and said something along the lines of, "If I can do it, you can do it. Don't be surprised in life when you get knocked down. Know that Jesus will always be your strength." I thought of verses that I memorized as a little kid that I still go back to. "I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength." There are times in life when God uses our weaknesses to show us and the people around us his incredible strength, mercy, and love that meets us in all circumstances. I appreciated Jay's experience of God so much because it didn't tie things up in this perfectly clean bow or clean package. You know what I mean. He still was struggling with brain cancer. And you could see the very real presence of God who draws near, provides opportunities and people, connections that we need when we need them. a God who gives us strength we never thought we could have. It's a story that we can all relate to. I'm sure most of us have things that are challenges in our lives that we wish would just go away. And sometimes God will help them go away. But for those stubborn things that stick around, how can we let God's glory and love and strength shine through in the midst of our hardships and weaknesses? Some food for thought today, and we'll talk to you again soon.